Welcome to the most important week of the year for the podcast industry. Welcome to Podcast Movement 2025.
Hey guys, how y'all doing? Thank you for being here on the last day of the conference. I know a lot of people flew out this morning, drove back home, but you wanted to be here, and that makes you all special, each and every one of you. You're very special to me. My name is Dr. Andre White. I come to you from Durham, North Carolina, by way of Cleveland, Ohio. And my presentation today is leveraging social media to grow a successful podcast, because everybody wants to know about social media, right? That's the thing we're all trying to conquer. We're all podcasters here. We're all business professionals here. And in order to be successful in business in 2025, you may or may not want to have a social media account. And you may or may not want to understand how to use that social media account. I don't know everything, but I know a couple of things. And that's what I tell people. This is my second time giving this presentation. I gave it at Podcast Evolutions in LA in March of 2024. Got a lot of good feedback. So I said, why not run it back, but the 2.0 version? So a little bit about me. I'm Andre. I am the host, the creator, founder, CEO of the Redacted History podcast. We've been doing the podcast. It is 3.5 years old. We launched it, and by we, I mean me. I'm just a one-man band. We launched it in March of 2022, and we've been going strong for 3.5 years. In 3.5 years, we are 85 episodes in. We hit 1.5 million streams so far as of today, August 21st, 2025. Thank you. Oh my God, relax, stop, please, stop doing too much. Oh my God. But yeah, I always tell people, my podcast logo is the definition of less is more. That George Washington wig and costume, the British are coming. That was $50. Off Amazon. The wig eats down, I know. My wife styled it. That's an iPhone 12 picture with one ring light in a Chapel Hill, North Carolina apartment bedroom. No studio, nothing crazy, no crazy funding behind it. And then one of my fraternity brothers is able to put that logo together. If you want access, I don't gatekeep anybody. If you want access to his company, that's that QR code right there. If you need a new logo or anything, if you're shopping around, whatever, the QR code takes you to his company for his graphic design. But yeah, I'm the host and creator of the Redacted History podcast. The point of our podcast is to take things that you know about history and teach you things that you didn't know that you thought you knew about history, if that makes sense. And over the last 3 years, growing the podcast, I put a very specific emphasis on social media. I'm a millennial. I grew up with sort of kind of social media, and I've always understood the importance of social media. And I've been moderately successful over the last several years, scaling this podcast up, specifically marketing, just with me, myself, and I marketing the podcast through every social media avenue that I could touch. Trying things, throwing things at the wall, seeing what does or what does not work in the ever-changing landscape. And I've learned a few things over these last several years, and I'm going to tell you those things today. This is what I've been able to kind of accomplish on social media, strictly with the podcast in the last several years. The top left thing you're going to see right there is the podcast downloads that we've gotten over the last 3 years. The Instagram account, the TikTok account, and then the YouTube account that we started scaling this year. So the 8,000 subscribers are all in 2025, and they're all using specific social media methods that I've kind of taken and crafted and coined like a specific workflow. And it looks something like this. This is something that I kind of made up and I coined myself. It's called the 4 pillars to social media success. And these 4 pillars, or thematic elements, if you will, are what I kind of sat down and thought to myself, okay, when I was making this presentation, I said, what are the tools that I've used? What are the themes that I've used at my disposal in the last 3 years? And the 4 of them, I'm going to go through all 4 of them. One being a marketer mindset, providing value to your viewer base, evergreen content, and understanding algorithms. And the cool thing about all 4 of these things is that it doesn't only apply to social media. You can also apply them to your actual podcast in and of itself. So the first one being having a marketer mindset. You don't need a marketing degree to think like a marketer. I don't have a marketing degree. I have a communications degree. I like to talk, if you can't tell. So what do the people in your niche want? When you're thinking about posting your videos on social media, marketing your podcast, marketing yourself, marketing your business, you have to understand that first and foremost, you need to think from the ground up. You need to think from the ground level and understand that you're operating from a niche. You're not operating to reach everybody. You're operating to meet a certain subset of the population. What will make them interested enough to click and convert? I think that is a question you should ask yourself every single time that you post a video, no matter what it is, whether it's a YouTube short, whether it is a Instagram reel, a TikTok video. You should ask yourself, what will make them interested to click and convert? Because people are lazy, right? You tell people, hey, click the link in the bio, and they're not going to go click. They're not going to go to your page. They don't want to go to your page, click the link, do all the things. I have to go here, I have to go there. So what can you do to make just one person click and convert to whatever you're trying to get them to do? And how do you, and that goes right into the next point of how do you turn watchers into actual supporters? And so the 4th point is probably the most important point on this slide right here. These are like 3 different methods that I've used specifically to scale my podcast Instagram account. I think Instagram is probably a really good, the best platform for this method in specific, being the 10 by 10 method. The 10 by 10 method is you need to understand, going back to what is your niche, right? And what I do, I love looking at people who I want to be like, right? So I'm a history podcast. And when it comes to me wanting to create my YouTube videos, how do I structure out my podcast episodes? I like to look up to people like Vox. Like Vox is one of my favorite documentary, history, social commentary channels. So the 10 by 10 method is taking 10 accounts, 10 creators, podcasts, whatever it may be, 10 Instagram accounts, and you got to say, I want to be just like them, right? They're doing exactly what I want to do. They are reaching the population that I want to reach. They're reaching the subset that I want to reach. And so you take those and you need to actively engage with those 10 accounts, whether that means engaging with their community, engaging in their comment sections. You need to actually make yourself visible in your niche. And you'd be surprised, after consistently engaging with 10, and you could take it a step further. You could take it 10 by 10, 20 by 20, 30 by 30, 40 by 40 if you got time. You'd be surprised at how much ground you could cover and how visible you can make yourself within your niche by actually communicating and engaging in your niche, right? You shouldn't just be posting your videos and throwing your phone across the room and saying, oh my God, what if it doesn't get any views, and then going to sleep. You shouldn't do that. The real work starts after you hit send, after you hit upload, after you hit post. That's when the real work starts. And then going back, the pinwheel method is really simple. A pinwheel does this. It spins around and around and around. That's how you want to treat your social media, right? You shouldn't just be trying to grow one platform, right? Especially in 2025. You should be trying to grow one platform and spin that platform off to another one. And that's specifically how I've been growing my YouTube channel. We've gotten 4,000 subscribers in the last 90 days, specifically by taking, hey, we're making content. The content on TikTok's doing pretty good. Okay, let's work really, really hard over the next 2 weeks to try to, snipe 10 followers from TikTok over to the YouTube channel. And then we're going to take those to the Instagram. Oh, now we're back at TikTok. Now we're going back to the YouTube. And you'll be surprised at how it compounds over time, because that's what social media is. It's just compounding things over time. Next is value. When you're posting, you need to understand what value does your show, your idea, your podcast, all the things, what does that provide? And the question is everything. No matter what, I've talked to a lot of you in the last 3 days, and I've heard the best podcast ideas. I've heard the best ideas of podcasts that haven't even started yet, or podcasts that have been around for 12 years. And you have to understand that your show and your idea provides value to somebody. I like to always tell people that the internet is unlimited real estate. There's somebody for everybody. Somebody is going to feel what you're doing. You just have to find those people, right? And you need to put in the effort, the work, and the skill sets to have those people find you. People want to hear what you have to say. You just have to understand how to package it on social media. And then you have to say, how can I take what my show provides and turn it into 30 to 60 seconds of watchable social media content. So if your podcast episode, for instance, mine, 25, 30, 35 minutes, I like to be in and out, short and sweet. People already kind of, got their judgments about, history is boring. So I like to get in and out, give you what you need and then get out. So how can I take that 25-minute episode and package that into bite-sized elements that still get my point across and make people want to not only follow me, but go check out the podcast as well. Next, we have Evergreen. This is probably my favorite one in terms of the 4 pillars. So the content you create is important, but what's more important is how long will that content last, right? So Redacted History is not the first podcast that I did. My first podcast I did was a sports podcast called Raised by Sports. It was a podcast I did with the homies for 7 years. We showed up consistently for 7 years. We missed we showed up every Tuesday night. We missed, I think, 2 Tuesdays, and they were because of COVID. That's the only reason we missed 2 episodes. And the show, it never really grew. It really was like a passion project. We weren't necessarily looking for growth. Growth would have been great. I don't like to work. Do you like to work? I would love to talk about sports for a living, you know what I'm saying? And so it never truly grew, and that's because one of the reasons we weren't necessarily successful on social media and the podcast overall is that I never really thought that the content was evergreen. What we were talking about was gonna die, for all intents and purposes, within 2 to 3 weeks, right? So when I've been incredibly intentional when I'm creating my podcast and creating my social media content. I have people come up to me all the time and say, man, I just listened to your first episode. My first episode was 3 years ago. You know what I'm saying? I was able to go from your first episode up to episode number 15. I'm working my way through your catalog. You want people to go back, no matter what catalog it is, whether they're scrolling back on your Instagram Reels or scrolling back on your podcast feed. You want people to be able to scroll back and obtain value and still be able to obtain something new and learn something new and feel like, wow, that impacted me right now from a video 90 days old, 30 days old, even a week old. You don't want your content to die. You want your content to evolve like a tree. You want people to say, hey, man, I just checked out your reel from 2 weeks ago. That was awesome. When are you making another one? Like, you really want people to be able to tap into content that you made, because we work hard on y'all work hard on your videos, right? You're working hard. I see y'all in Canva and CapCut. You know what I'm saying? We're working hard on all our social media content. So it's important to really, and this is content overall, whether it's social media or your podcast, how will your content provide value over time? How will it exponentially provide value? How will it stay evergreen? Can someone watch one of your Reels or TikToks 30 days from now and still get the same value and the same feel from it? And could you say the same thing about your episodes? And these are all questions that I want you all to ask yourself before you hit post. That's the theme. Before you hit post, I want you all to think about all of these questions. And then the last pillar is algorithmic. I made that word up. I don't think that's a word. Again, how can you turn your 20-minute episode into 5 bite-sized videos? Every social media platform is different, but every social media platform is the same. Because at the end of the day, we're all vying for attention. Attention is currency. That is the new currency of the world, is attention, right? You're doom scrolling on TikTok. This is me. I lay on my left side in bed because my wife is over there and she got to work at 8 a.m. So I got to lay on the left side away from her so I can doom scroll properly, right? So that's my doom scroll form right there. And so I'm doom scrolling at, 1:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and and you got to catch my attention, right? You have to understand that you're trying to catch people's attention at all times of the day. You're not just catching people's attention at 1 p.m. in the afternoon. You catching Andre's attention at 1:45 a.m., right? So you have to understand that you have to understand that you are hooking people. Those first 2, 3, 4 seconds of your video can make or break the video. Even if the meat and the potatoes is in second 35, or if it's a 2-minute video, you're making long form content or whatever it may be. You want to hook people. That should be the standard. That should be what you're aiming for. When I'm creating my YouTube videos right now, I'm sitting there like racking my brain trying to say, okay, were those first 10 seconds, were they good enough? Were they spicy enough? Are they going to evoke emotion? Are they going to make people, stay and watch. And a lot of social media platforms, all of them really have really great analytics to where you can see, hey, where are people kind of tapping out? Where are people, are they still watching 5, 10, 15, 20 seconds in? And I pay attention to those heavily. That's probably the thing that I pay attention more so than viewers. Viewers are cool. I think viewers are a vanity metric. Viewers are going to come. But the real test of how good your content is if those viewers are staying to watch until the very end. I think that's more impactful than, the viewer count. The viewer count's great. We love a good dopamine hit. That's awesome. But are those 200 viewers, 2,000 viewers, 2 million viewers, are they actually staying to the middle or are they staying to the end? So you want to actually, it all ties together. It goes back to the marketing thing, the evergreen thing. But again, every social media platform is different, but every social media platform is the exact same. And so, oh, wow.
What if I told you?
Oh, wow, excuse me. Oh, okay. So this is a video, and you're probably not going to be able to hear it because you're all like spread out, but you don't need to hear it for me to get my point across. So my point is, I'm about to play it in a second. So I launched my podcast in February 2022. I was 3 episodes in by the middle of March, and I said, okay, we got to get to work. We got to market it. I got to get all the boots on the ground. The boots on the ground is me. So, Andre, how are we going to make this work? And so I said, okay, I made a really great episode. It's about Mary Bowser is my 3rd episode. It's about an enslaved black woman who lived in Richmond, Virginia. She got her freedom. The daughter of her slave owner was an abolitionist. She waited for her daddy to die, and her, the former slave owner's daughter, and Mary joined together and formed a spy ring on behalf of the Union Army. That's cool as hell, right? So I said, okay, I already got a really cool concept. How can I package that into a social media video, right? So I'm about to show you the video. You're not gonna really be able to hear it, but again, it doesn't matter if you can hear it, right? So the video is nothing special. Less is more. I'm not on a big production budget or anything. The video you're about to see was a video that I put together with a green screen on TikTok. I show my face at the beginning so you know it's me. And then I took stock video from Google, right? And I'm gonna play it right now. I took stock video from Google.
That climate change wasn't real. Those wildfires,
and so
those rising temperatures.
We hooked people at the beginning.
Those melting ice caps, yeah, those are a figment of your imagination.
Hooking.
I'm just kidding. That would be a lie. Now, what if I told you there once lived an enslaved
This is all stock
woman
footage.
who was freed, educated, and became a spy for the Union Army and played a part in infiltrating the Confederacy.
I gotta show you. I'm here. You know what I'm saying?
Civil War, providing valuable information for the Union Army. And her partner in crime was her former slave master. Well, that would be the truth. This is the story of Mary Bowser. Welcome to the Redacted History
And so
Podcast.
that's my old, you saw that was my old logo, right? That was the, Andre, you need to start your podcast. Imposter syndrome is got you in a figure 4 leg lock. And so I think I paid somebody on Fiverr, like $20. So they made that. So that video got 200,000 views in 9 hours on TikTok, right? It was nothing special, right? I actually hate it. I think the video sucks, right? It's not great, but it gets the point across. We hook people. At the beginning I said, what if I told you that climate change wasn't real? Duh, it is real. But people are like, oh my God, why would he say that? I'm being betrayed by my FYP. And then I'm like, I'm kidding. Now let's talk about Mary Bowser. And people they're here, right? So the video got 200,000 views in the first 9 hours. And when I woke up I posted at like 9:15 p.m. And I said, cool, posted it, whatever. I woke up the next morning and had over 2,000 streams on that podcast episode. So people not only watched the video, but they felt so convicted to go over to the podcast. And those 2,000 people that came from that video, to this day, I can say that those 2,000 people stayed because those 2,000 people compounded over time. And I was like, okay, that could have been a fluke. So the next episode came out, I was like, oh, y'all still here? Okay, cool. Hey, cousin. So that's pretty much our presentation. I let people come for questions, comments, and concerns. So I like to leave a lot of space open. I know it's a lot of QR codes. My man Miles told me don't put all these QR codes on here. And I woke up this morning with I had an adrenaline rush, so I just put them all on here anyway. But yeah, if you want the presentation, We don't gatekeep. Y'all can QR code it. If it don't work, let me know. I'll email it to you. But yeah, if y'all have questions, comments, concerns, the floor is yours. We got 10 minutes. I did a pretty good job. It was like 20 minutes, yeah. Stop. Oh my God. You're going to make me run away.
Hi there. I'm wondering, something we kind of struggle with is at the end of like our TikToks and Instagram Reels, do you put like a slide with your podcast art cover on it? How do you battle looking too promotional for the algorithm?
I do not care. I do exactly what you just said. I do that all the time. What I'll do is if I'm making a video, whatever the video's about or whatever, I love a good overlay where I would just overlay the podcast art. And it might not even be where it takes up the entire screen. It'll just be right there, left corner, middle corner, or whatnot. And a lot of times on Instagram, TikTok is annoying and took away the feature to like pin a comment in your comment section. But on YouTube, you can still do so. And on Instagram, you can still pin comments in your comment section. So I'm never afraid to throw that logo there. Okay. And pin a comment saying, especially if what I'm talking about is pertaining to a previous podcast episode or episode that just came out. Never afraid of promotion. If the algorithm doesn't like it, the algorithm has never not liked like me promoting stuff, I don't think. And I'm gonna keep promoting it regardless. But I'm never afraid of an overlay.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Do you make your videos in the app natively, or do you make them in a third-party app?
Every TikTok video, I would say, it really depends on what the video is, like what I need to do. But 9 times out of 10, I'm making a lot of my videos natively in TikTok. I think TikTok has the best like social media editor. And then I'll post it, save it without the watermark, throw it on YouTube Shorts, throw it on Instagram Reels. But sometimes I'll go to CapCut and make the video if I need to. But 9 times out of 10, I'm making it natively in the app.
Do you think that they get promotion in the algorithm more if they're made natively within the app?
I do think that the apps want you to use their features,
okay.
100%. And why? I mean, business is business, you know? Like, I get it.
So what hashtags do you typically use so that it could get to the For You page?
So for the last 3 years, I've abided by a cardinal rule. I only use 4 hashtags. Now, they're never the same 4 hashtags. It really just depends on what I'm talking about. For instance, if I'm making a video on Martin Luther King, I'll say history, Black history, education, Martin Luther King. Now, what I've learned is that hashtags are less important than we really think they are. There's more of an emphasis on search engine optimization now, right? What you're typing in the caption is just as important, if not more important than the actual caption, right? Because think about how inundated those hashtag databases are at this point. Like how many people, if you went on Instagram right now, how many videos are gonna come up if you hashtag get ready with me, right? But if you're actually typing, hey guys, I got this outfit from Zara, blah, 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 the algorithm is gonna know more about your video with those 2 to 3 sentences about what you're wearing, where you got it from, how you styled yourself, as opposed to those hashtags that are really just gonna put you in a really big sea of people, you know?
Hi, Andre, thank you. Can you just go by the 10 by 10 again? I didn't quite follow that.
Yeah. So the 10 by 10 method is really just taking whatever your niche is, finding 10 creators, 10 podcasters, whatever it may be, whatever platform you're on, and like I said, this specifically works the best on Instagram. It can work great on TikTok as well. But finding those 10 creators and saying, hey, these are 10 people that I want to be like. These are 10 people that are doing exactly what I want to do in the field that I want to do it in, right? So I'm finding history podcasters. I'm looking, like I said, my favorite history account or social media documentarian account is Vox. I love Vox. I style myself after Vox. You can see Vox inspiration in all of my content, right? Finding those 10 people and engaging with them consistently in terms of being in their comment sections, and actually that's a great way for you to speed run engaging with the community that you're trying to grow.
Hey, I'm looking at your Instagram page, and I'm curious about your thumbnails. Like, I look, if you go down, you seem to have a more uniform style, but now your more recent episodes, it seems to be more just kind of. I feel like these stand out. I mean, was that your thinking? Like,
You're saying the newer ones stand out?
yeah, because like I said, if you scroll down to the bottom, like they're like, black and white.
Yeah,
Like, did you see a change in like?
yeah,
How,
yeah. I think I just came down to just me getting better over time. Like that's like what you're seeing is a little 2-year growth, 2-year difference, right? And I thought that the ones back then they looked real formal and kind of real stuffy, and I said I wanted to be a little bit more freeform. Especially with me making history content, I'm trying to be hip. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to appeal, right? So yeah, that was just growth over time. Just noticing that hey, these kind of changed. Yeah, for sure. Definitely saw a difference. Yeah.
Hi. Firstly, thank you for giving me something else I can use for my history degree. One of the main issues I have is that the podcast I work on is ethical problems, and the algorithms will bury our content because it doesn't like the fact that we're talking medical terms or using certain images. Is there a way to get around that?
Wait, ask your question one more time 'cause you cut off at the beginning.
Sorry. The main issue I have is because
hang on.
I
did that on purpose.
Okay. The main issue I have is the podcast I work on is a lot of medical-based content.
Okay.
And the algorithms don't like us using medical terms or medical-based images. Is there a way to get around that to help promote our videos more?
Yeah, so in terms of I've had the same issue before, like just talking with like Black history, all those things. What I've done is I just try to get my point across while censoring myself as much as possible in terms of I don't censor what I say, I censor the captions because I find that the thing that the algorithm is picking up the most is actually what you're typing into the actual videos, whether it's your caption or whether it's your captions in the video, like your auto-generated caption or the captions for your closed captions for people to actually read what you're saying. So I find that censoring what you're actually writing out is going to actually make more of a difference. That's just been my experience making history content as well. It can be hard because those things can get censored by the powers that be. But yeah, just trying to finesse and find ways around it is the best thing that I've done.
Hi, yes, good morning. Thank you for this today. This has been super helpful. My question is as it pertains to, time management, I guess, with social media, because as you know, it's very time consuming to juggle it all with, people that work full time, trying to get your podcast off the ground, social media. So what is your one piece of advice for balancing all of the different things?
Yeah, I have severe ADHD and task paralysis. So great question for me to answer. My biggest thing in terms of getting social media content created, we all got long days, a lot of responsibilities. My main thing is batching is my best friend. Sitting down and before I came here, I came from North Carolina, got on a flight. I knew I wasn't going to be able to make content the way I wanted to this week. So I batch recorded 5 videos on Sunday, the night before I flew out. Batch recording, making sure I utilize the Pomodoro method whenever I'm creating, which is work and create for 20 to 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break, give your brain some fun time, scroll, watch TV or whatever it may be that's fun for you. So yeah, just batching, working through the pressure, Pomodoro method, those are things that work the best for me. And yeah, just get that content out. We got 53 seconds.
Okay, I'm going to talk really fast. Hi. We have a marriage and a healthy relationship podcast. And so one of our clips got over 1 million views, did really well. It's our highest episode to date, clip to date, right? And I know you talked about having that clip do really well and it convert to viewers that stayed. we feel like our content is pretty similar across the board. We talk about the same things, pretty engaging, but we're not really seeing that those people stayed. So what would you say your advice is to getting people to stay?
I would say in terms of getting people to stay, it can be hard because sometimes it can feel like social media hates you for sure. Like the content you're making is great. Everything I'm making, like you said, everything you're making is, and I do the same thing happens to me. Like all of my content is similar. Some stuff's gonna pop, some stuff's not gonna pop. The way that I get people to me, the best way to convert and to stay is to make sure, okay, I had a video that popped off, it did 1 million views, like you said, and I'm making it my mission over the next like 72 hours after that video is out and it's doing well. It's my mission to like go into that comment section and make sure everybody sees me in that comment section, right? I am being annoying. I'm into it in an obnoxious way of making everybody in the comment section see me, let them know what I'm offering, go do this, go stream this. And that actually works because it humanizes you. Like I'm not just the person behind the camera. I'm not just the person that you just scrolled across randomly on your Instagram Reels account. You have to do your best to humanize yourself. And I'm always in my Instagram DMs on my podcast account in the comment sections, just really talking to people. And it makes the world of difference, especially after a video does well. We good? Appreciate y'all, man.